You right, mate?
Yeah, just feeling a bit
Woozy?
I don't know, woozy, unenthused, dreary, you know.
Sad?
Not sad because, hey, let's be honest. Like, we do a racing podcast.
Yeah.
We've got an enormous fan base with millies of people.
Huge.
We get paid millies.
Yes. That is factual.
So, you know, it could be worse.
Mm.
But, man,
Not far off.
Adelaide racing. It's, as a hearty, born and bred Queenslander,
Yeah.
it's hard to get super enthused about it.
Well, what's smaller than like little brother stuff? You know what I mean? So like big brother versus little brother, Broncos versus Cowboys.
Yep. Yep. And then what are you talking about, like with regards to Adelaide? Because there's a few family members, few siblings. Yep.
All right. So if we talk through the family, right? So mum and dad are Melbourne and Sydney.
Yep.
They don't necessarily get on together, but they stay together for the family.
Yep.
Then I'd say good old Brisbane, Queensland racing is the eldest child, the favourite.
Yeah.
After that. But the second born child, I'd say, is WA racing. You know, smart, good looking, you know, and is a worldwide traveller, or at least a domestic traveller.
Oh, and offers a lot to, you know, the older sibling and the mum and the dad.
Yeah. And from what I've heard by several people and scholars, is typically the third child misses out.
Mm.
And
Youngest.
that is by far South Australian racing.
100%. 100%. See, I'd phrase it even slightly differently. So you probably got twin siblings.
Mm.
So you got your mum and your dad, which is Australian racing.
Mm.
Just one big hole, mum and dad.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got, like twin eldest siblings,
Mm.
New South Wales and Victoria. And you're right, they don't always get along, but they both offer so much.
Yeah.
And they're the big dogs.
Uh-huh.
And then you got the immediate younger sibling who always gets invited. Both the older siblings, big fan. It's like, yeah, come play with me. They're playing split screen Halo, and you know there's 4 controllers, and obviously the 2 older twins, New South Wales and Victoria, get to play, and then the third player is Queensland easily. It's just really well loved, liked. Offers a lot to Australian racing, and then WA is getting that last controller, easy.
Yeah.
And then South Australia is getting a controller, but it's not fucking connected. And they're sitting there looking up at the screen like, it's like, I'm turning left, but it's not going left. And that's because the other siblings don't want them to play. So what do you think our thoughts are on South Australian racing, drifters?
I think you've nailed that. That is very funny.
We were talking about it before on the way here, though.
How would we fix it?
Yeah, how would we fix it?
And look, we don't know the carnival inside out, but hey, let me get it up because there's only 4 Group 1s there. The Australasian Oaks, so runner the 2,000 metres at Morphettville Parks. It's this weekend.
Yeah.
It's what we're talking about. Then after that, you have the Robert Sangster Stakes over 1,200 metres. Now I'm going to have to double check the conditions of the race. It could potentially be for the fillies only. Let's have a look here. No, it's just a weight for age Group 1 by the looks of it.
Yep.
So I'm only seeing fillies here. So I think it's only for the mares. Yeah, it's only for the mares. Okay, so you have a mares only sprint.
Yep.
Then you have the South Australian Derby.
Yep.
Over 2,500 metres. And then you have the Goodwood, another sprint. And we were thinking, how would we work this into, say, if we absolutely had to combine both of the carnivals together, the South Australian Carnival and the Queensland Carnival?
Yeah.
How would you do it?
Oh, mate, you know, I think you'd have to look at the races that we have here and then that are similar to the ones that you just mentioned and make a decision, an informed decision about which one you'd take above it.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at the Australasian Oaks and compare it to the Queensland Oaks.
I think we already have one.
Yeah, Queensland Oaks. Yeah, we do.
I think we might keep ours.
Yeah, it's worth more prize money. Nicer track.
Yeah.
So we'll keep that. Okay.
Okay.
So moving on to the Robert Sangster. Like
Look.
you said, it's a sprint race for fillies and mares. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But we've got the Tats Tiara.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We might keep that one.
It's also worth more money. So
All right.
moving on. South Australian Derby,
Now,
2,500 metres.
this can produce some decent horses. Russian Camelot.
Russian Camelot springs to
on
mind.
this.
Explosive Jack.
Yeah. And others. But why we have to keep the Queensland Derby is because it is absolutely essential for horses getting sold to Hong Kong. And we need to keep that relationship.
100%. Where else are we going to get all that prize money from?
So
Plus, ours is worth $1 million. Theirs is worth $400,000. Okay.
is that a typo?
$400,000. What is this, English racing where they've got fuck all prize money? Oh.
Should be. Hey, we could put it on for Beyond the Drift Derby.
Actually, now's my new favourite race, the SA Derby, on the Drift Derby. Okay. And then we're moving to the Goodwood.
Oh, another sprint race.
Oh, over 1,200 metres. It's $400,000. The Doomba 10,000 is worth $1 million. The Kingsford Smith's over 1,300, worth 700. Stradbroke Handicap, 1,400 metres. You could argue that's a sprint race.
You know,
It's worth $1.5 million.
You know what South Australia are hanging their hat on? Is
Nothing, mate, because what hat do they have?
they have a heritage hat. They have a history hat. That's about it. Because the Goodwood is one of the Australia's oldest races. But
So it's past its use by date then.
by the looks of it, like the last decent winner of the race was Santana Lane, I believe. Tracking won it last year. But if we can have 3 Group 1 sprints up here worth more money, I think we might keep them too.
So what we've basically decided, Drifters, is that the two of us single-handedly have solved the pattern.
Yes.
Don't worry about what they're doing in New South Wales and Victoria and the arguments they're having about disrupting the great pattern in racing. I reckon if we just abolished South Australian racing, full stop.
Mate, they're halfway there getting rid of Oakbank jumps racing.
Exactly right.
So something that is one of the highest attended race days of their whole program over the Easter Carnival, they usually get 40,000 people there.
It's a good turnout.
Oakbank jumps racing. They changed it to a flats program this year. 6,000 people turned up. What are they doing
Oh, I don't know.
down there?
I don't know, but I think we'll solve the pattern issues if we just abolish their carnival. I think we will.
So, with that in mind, look, I don't want to get to that race quite yet, but we went to the track on Saturday. Good day out.
We did, yeah. Went to the track. Yeah, it's always good, mate. Getting back to the track, it's been a while. There is one issue I have with Doomben, though.
Specifically Doomben, not Eagle Farm.
Yeah, specifically Doomben. So we're in members, right? I've reduced myself back to the lows of being in members again. The champagne, cocktails, caviar, and all that of the Chairman's Club for me and Randwick. I think my head was just getting a bit too inflated. The ego was just getting a bit too inflated, and I just needed to be popped and sunk back down to earth. So, dealing with all the plebs in members.
It was good to have you there.
Yeah, wearing their jeans and joggers and all that. Nah, that's a bit harsh. But so when you're in members at Doomben, you're trying to watch a race like that's happening live at Doomben.
Yeah.
And obviously you can't see on the other side of the track where it's like a 14, 16, 2,000 metre race.
You see the peloton.
Yeah.
That's all. But my vision is pretty damn good, but it's not that good.
Exactly right. So you're like, well, I'm going to look at the big TV. It's just like when you're at Suncorp. You're going to look at the big TV screen at times, right? and you're trying to watch it, and it is obscured by the massive Doomben Racecourse sign on the finish line. They've put the screen right behind that, so the members can't see it.
So, all right, you say it's a massive winning post, right? I have an issue with the size of the TV.
I've got an issue with both.
It is a tiny television.
Small as.
The one we have in here would be bigger.
Yeah, I agree. My bloody iPhone screen's bigger.
It's horrific footy. And Eagle Farm, look, talking big brother, little brother, Eagle Farm's the big brother.
Oh, easy.
Far better setup.
Beats up on Doomben, but then the tracks and all sorts.
Yeah.
Well, but hey, it's still better than bloody Adelaide racing.
That's true. That is true.
But no, it was good, mate. Any particular takeaways from the weekend for you?
I have a long way to go for my Queensland and Adelaide form. Long way to go. May as well not even have a bet over the next month, I'd say.
Oh, yeah, no.
Personally.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it is a little bit tough when you've sort of been focusing on the southern states and you come back up. But no, you'll be right.
Yeah, I landed up $2 down. So in my humble, that's a win.
Oh, mate, that's a perfect day at the track.
That's a strong win. Should we talk some horse racing?
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right. So, as mentioned, one of the shit hot Group 1s of the year, the Australasian Oaks, last year won by a $61 pop that no one had. But not a bad addition this year. You have some interstate raiders. El Patroness adds interest. She has fallen from Victoria and Sydney, and now she's in Adelaide. So she is probably overs at the $6 on offer, but then you have the favourite, My Whisper, who, I'm going to be honest with you, didn't know she existed until I saw the form for this race.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's an open race. I've found the 3-year-old crop of fillies so tough to find. So you've had Hinged, Fangirl. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Gypsy. I feel like when they were younger, when they were 2-year-olds, they were tough to find. Spring last year, like Willowy won the VRC Oaks. What's happened to her?
Yeah. Well, they've kind of kept her on ice. I don't know if she's injured. And then Biscayne Bay, who was behind, she ran well in the Derby. And then
they're very tough. Espiona was obviously touted as the next biggest thing. Like, I know she...
Not the Derby, the Oaks. Anyway.
Yeah, I know she won her last race and is obviously being spelled for the spring. I still think she's going to be a special horse. But, like, the 3-year-old fillies are a tough bunch to read.
Yeah, it's a good point you make. And there's a couple in here that actually do have some form around older horses and the boys.
They do, yeah, which I know you made a point of tracking throughout the autumn and those things have popped up a lot.
Yeah, which I'm kind of going that way a little bit, but kind of not as well. So I think let's start with the favourite, My Whisper.
Yeah. Oh, mate, look, to be honest, the first sight I had of her was last start. And I watched that race, and I actually watched that race. I had some cash on Bonza Perla in that race. Typically don't usually punt in Morphettville, but
unless we have Corb's mail.
Yeah, exactly. Corbo, shout out.
He is a Morphettville. He gets the Morphettville morals going.
Yeah, we love Corbo's morals in Morphettville. So the reason why I wanted to back her is because, I saw that she was racing. And I was like, this thing ran third in the bloody Aussie Guineas to Hitotsu and Lightsaber against the boys. She was big price there. She ran second next start. So I had a bit of cash on her for the Auraria Stakes, which My Whisper won. And My Whisper, mate, was bloody 4 or 5 wide the trip. She was carrying a bit less weight than Bonza Perla, but she didn't use it to her advantage at all. And she was strong through the line and fought off Bonza Perla. So that's the first time I saw her, and I was like, what is this thing doing next start? And obviously it's here. Jay Carr on board, draws absolutely perfectly. So hopefully she's not 4 or 5 wide the trip this time.
Well, I was looking because I went through the replays of the key chances, and I didn't get too far after looking at this girl because I was just blown away by that win. And the other interesting thing was looking through her other starts, she doesn't get that far back usually.
No, she doesn't, no.
So I think she can use that barrier, have a very soft run. She was strong through the line there.
She was. She'll eat up 2,000 metres. She's by Frankel, and we all know how good Frankel was on the track, undefeated, big fella. So she's a half-sister to Hungry Heart. Wears the same silks. Thoughts?
Unfortunately. I think it's well known that Yulong silks are not our favourite on this podcast.
Disgusting. So, but look, I do admit I'm tipping her on top with not a lot of confidence. Yeah. I think El Patronus can win this.
Yeah. I think what was in El Patronus's favour last start was the heavy ground.
100%.
It's just like nothing was making ground at Randwick that day, Championships Day 2. So, and she gets, her form profile suggests that she likes heavier ground. I think there's a couple of good roughies in the race. Your point on Bonza Perla is fantastic, drawn really well, and she does have form around Haitotsu, some of the other boys. So I think she's well over the odds at 10s.
Meets My Whisper better at the weights as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Daisy's is probably overs as well.
Agreed.
She's been fantastic. She went down in the Port Adelaide Guineas last start, but a strange race. I think if you actually look at it, like the winner did win by 4 lengths, but I think she actually did quite well. All things considered, and she was if she was like a $7 pulp opposed to $1.80, you're probably thinking that she's the one to back here.
Yeah, but last start. Starting price, that profile usually indicates it's just an off run and they'll run better.
Yeah. I've got one at a enormous price here that I think can run race and hasn't got out to this distance. Blinker's first time. That's not number 15 Stray for Anthony Cummings. Now, was only 2.5 lengths off My Whisper. Now, if you rewatch the replay drifters, it's the big yellow horse that comes straight through afterwards. Chuck this into all of your exotics if you play that way. SRMs, all that good stuff. $34. I'll be having a saver on this girl. Forget the form profile because it looks horrific. 10 starts, 1 win, nothing else. I think the distance is the key to this horse. Would have been aimed up at this. All the Cummings right across Australia are just...
They know when to come.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. He owns this horse as well, I just see. He's the...
oh, really?
Yeah, he's the manager, Anthony. So, there you go.
Oh, look, yeah. Oh, man, I can make a case for a few other things. Bloody Barbrader. Yep. Last start was a bit of a dud. But before that, it's got cracking form. Behind Shout the Bar at Moonee Valley, she ran through the roof there. Gets a dry deck, doesn't like the heavy, so she'll run well. Marmunia, speaking of Cummings, yeah, she's drawing the car park. That's probably the biggest issue for her, but she's got form around Honey Creeper. Has, form around the Cunning Fox, which isn't too bad of a horse. And like we've just said, the Cummings boys are on fire at the moment. So, My Whisper on top for me, just because that last run was unbelievable and she'll get a better run this time. And I think this was always the plan for her. J. Carr on board, massive, massive tick.
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
I agree. My Whisper on top for me as well. Before we get into our best bets, there is actually some decent, possibly even better horse racing at Eagle Farm this weekend.
100%.
So let's have a quick look there. Before we do, what I did notice, if you look at who the main sponsor of all these races, apart from the feature, it's all Treasury Casino. Like basically a Treasury Casino handicap.
Come to the cast.
So I don't know. And talking to our good mate Josh at Ned's this afternoon, just talking about the cast, getting me itchy to have a sesh.
Roulette.
But the Victory Stakes, mate, Way for Age, Group 2, 1,200 metres. I'll let you talk to it, please.
Mate, yeah, cracking race. cracking race. And we were sort of talking about it earlier today and keep an eye out for our Ned stuff later on in the week. But, you know, there's a few things in here that you think would be decent players for the rest of the Winter Carnival. But as it turns out, this race very rarely is a massive form reference, at least for the winner. Look, I didn't dig too deep into it, whether the... things that are storming home for third or fourth have gone on to do anything. But anyway.
We talk about winners here.
We talk about winners on this podcast because we are winners about 30% of the time. Biggest one, mate. Number 3, Rothfire.
Yeah.
He's back.
He is.
Do you think he's back and worth a price of $2.30?
Absolutely not. Can't have him at that price. I know you're with him, but I can't go in at those odds. The one that did interest me in early fields was Count Rupee at around the $5. Bit disappointed with that price because I feel like he has been quite underwhelming. But he has Kementari form, this horse. And I don't think he didn't get through those heavy decks in Sydney. I think he's going to appreciate the rock hard Eagle Farm deck. I do see here that he is by Real Impact, a Japanese sire, which I can only assume is related to Deep Impact and therefore Fierce Impact. So that I love to see that.
Yeah. Look, I am with Rothy. I think I hope more than anything else, we talk about head and heart and in betting. I hope more than anything else that he's back somewhere near what he was. The one that... we'll go to Star Tontes now. Obviously, she's a star filly. She's a great filly for Robbie Heathcote, and I think she'll play a part in the Group 1s for the rest of the Winter Carnival. Mate, the one I like at a bit of a price is Jamea down the bottom. She likes this distance. She likes a good deck. Yeah, the Galaxy, she ran 11th out of 14, but she hated that heavy deck. You know, it was a Group 1 handicap, and then Surround Stakes. Again, heavy deck. Start before that, though. Second behind Fangirl and Espiona.
I think she's been one that has been absolutely crying out for the good ground.
100%.
But she is another one of these 3-year-old fillies that is just like, they're just doing like the horse racing Keno. They're just bobbing their heads up right across the field, and you don't know which colour's going to get up.
100%. Musical chairs. The 3-year-old filly. So, mate, yeah, I agree. But I think at that price, she's worth a little each way play.
Yeah, this is kind of like the B grade stakes, I'd say. Might be a bit harsh, but like it's almost like the Story Stakes. Vague won the Group 1 winner from last year in the Winter Carnival. Count Rupee, you know, some stories there. But yeah, the main ones like Rothfire, obviously coming off that injury again. Robbie Heathcote runner, which we haven't even touched on. Nicanova is always just crushing punters' hearts. It's Me, the Kosciuszko winner. Like they've been desperate to get her on a good track as well. And then Star Tontes and Jamea add interest as 3-year-olds as well as Ranch Hand. Mate, Baller is not a bad shout in this race either.
Baller. Yeah, no. First up, he flies.
But yeah. Might be outclassed. Anyway, best bets time.
Yeah, mate. Look, I actually like a few things in Eagle Farm on the weekend.
I have one bet, so
play on then.
That's it.
Yeah, okay.
You take it away.
So in the first race, I like Major Artie down the bottom with a lightweight. There's absolutely no speed in this race, but it'll go forward being a Waterhouse and Bott horse with the lightweight. Forget last start. I think that's a good bet. Then my best of the day, going to race 3.
Race 3.
Eagle Farm. Number 5, Cur Royale. Chris Waller thing. First up. Been waiting for a good deck after being spelled for a couple months. Draws perfectly. Best bet of the day. It's $2.90 with Neds now. It was $3.40 when I was looking at it before. Fuck.
Did you jump on?
I did not.
Shit. Well, I've got one that, you know, can add a bit of value in. Okay. So I want you to go to Hawkesbury. I'm a student of the Hawkesbury form, trust me. I want you to go to race 7, the Hawkesbury Guineas. Interesting race, this one, but I think the favourite gets the job done, and it gets it done well here, Mr. Mozart. $3 you're getting with Neds. That is, I think that's crazy. Like, he absolutely dominated our Playboy in the Doncaster Prelude at Newcastle last start. Beat home, never been kissed. But in that our Playboy race, he was beating home the 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, the older horses, and he's back to his own age here. I think he just absolutely blitzes them. And the bottom weight gets 5 kilos off him. It's not going to be enough. So I think Mr. Mozart, Willie Pike on board, Hawks stable, barrier 5, bang.
Mate, can't blame you.
Lovely. Well, we'll keep these Morphettville podcasts pretty short because they don't add too much interest to us. But, hey, we'll try and find a couple winners anyway.
Yeah, and we were just saying before the podcast, you won't hear a Drifter of the Week, obviously, on this podcast. However, we'll figure it out. We'll get a Drifter of the Week to get their maybe. Do you know what we could do? We could do like a poll, and we just pick maybe 5 different horses. Group 1.
Do the 4 favourites or something.
Yeah, we'll just give that.
Like it.
Give that a bell.
Yeah, I reckon. Speaking of polls, you have egg on your face because the Drifters do know what juggernauts are.
I don't have egg on my face, mate, because the Drifters are virgins and I am not. So, who's a loser now? You guys are. But yeah, no, mate, honestly, had no idea what that was. I've never played COD. Come on, mate.
Yeah, well, you're a Halo guy, clearly.
I'm a big Halo guy.
All right.
Not anymore, but I was.
Yeah, you fucking virgin. Alrighty, we'll see you next week, Drifters.
See you, Drifters.